This episode is sponsored by Arana Stay, the digital guest guide of the future. Say goodbye to the hassle of traditional welcome packs and say hello to a seamless and unforgettable digital experience for your guest with Arana's fully branded guest experience app. Boost your revenue with powerful features and focus on what you do best, whilst Arana Stay takes care of the rest. Visit aranastay.com to find out more. Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Accommodation Show. I am joined once again by the wonderful, amazing Tim Mortimer. Welcome back to the show.
Fantastic to be back, Bart. Thank you very much.
I've been looking forward to this episode because we were going to try to bolt them all together, but I've managed to pin you down to get this episode recorded because today we're going to be talking about working with the local community. We're going to be talking about partnerships, about how to create a destination for guests to want to come and visit. And this is all preluded by a story that Tim was telling me. And I was like, Jesus, that's unbelievable. I'm so excited to talk about this and to share it with the audience. You will love this. So, Tim, before we get into it, can you do another brief introduction for everybody to let everybody know what your business is, whereabouts you're located, and the other part, which is going to lead into the episode, if you can tell us a little bit about your area.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so I'm Tim Mortimer, founder and CEO of B&B Made Easy. We're in the central west of New South Wales, so a couple of hours drive over the mountains from Sydney, inland. Currently managing about 140 properties in the region and growing, which is great. And Orange is a food and wine region. It's got mining, it's got health, it's quite a vibrant area. Orange is the town I'm in right now, but in the whole region as well, we've got Dubbo and Bathurst that we service as well, and both are very good towns in their own right, and just a good region in general.
So, in terms of the region, I want you to set the scene for people that have never been to Australia before. Around about 60-70% of our audience are in the US and in the UK. Tell people that have never been how far it is from the biggest city, and then what to kind of expect.
So you land in Sydney, it's beautiful, there's a lot to do in Sydney, but if you want the real country experience, then you drive over the Blue Mountains, which would probably take you an hour and a half from Sydney in a car or a train. And then you start to hit the tablelands and the plains, and just beautiful grassy areas, rolling hills, lots of farming, orchards, sheep, cow, some wildlife, kangaroos and things like that too, which I'm sure your overseas viewers would enjoy. But then kind of halfway between Sydney and the outback, just on the other side of Dubbo, is where the plains start, gets really flat and starts getting a bit more sparse. And there's a lot going on here. Like I said, we're on a mountain. We're about 900 meters above sea level here, so it's we get all our 4 seasons. It's a very beautiful area. It's rich. The soil's very rich, so we have rolling vineyards and orchards, and the food and wine scene in Orange is incredible. So it's an emerging wine region, and it's going to be a big thing in the future.
Wow. I've never been to Orange.
That's good.
I'm ready to come.
You can fly here from Brisbane and Melbourne as well.
There you go. So in terms of there's a lot of farming that's going on. Is tourism? Tell me about that kind of. What does that look like? Is it a big part of the economy?
It definitely is. It definitely for Orange. Tourism and the food and wine is what brings most of the tourism into town. So we have Wine Month. It's a whole month now of events in October, and then autumn in Orange, as far as the trees turning colour. Like I said, we're a bit of a cooler region, so we really have the 4 seasons. Autumn is just, I think actually Orange got named as the #1 destination in Australia for its autumn just recently. So that kind of puts it, in the scope as to where it should sit as far as the tourism that it brings to the town, with just the town's just surrounded by big trees, and they all change colour, and it's just a beautiful place to be. So love growing up here, and really love welcoming our guests at this time of year for that reason.
Yeah, Yeah. Okay. So so the trip that I should be taking is now.
Well now, every time, anytime. It snows in the winter. Bathurst has the Bathurst 1000. Dubbo's got the Dubbo Zoo, and all the whole region. Mudgee's just up the road as well. So the whole region is just vibrant, and it's just beautiful. Yeah, it's a great place to have landed in Australia. It's really nice.
Yeah, great. I think that sets the scene really well. And for those of you that haven't visited, now's the time to go and have a visit. If you're in the accommodation space, then hit up Mr. Mortimer. Yeah,
We'll look after you.
Now, and that kind of leads me to the next stage, and I would like you to just tell me a little bit about sort of population size and local community. So you're obviously a business owner in the community, and that is something which is incredibly important to bring people in, be it tourists and that sort of thing, and just to support them. So yeah, tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, definitely. And these country towns around this region, they're all really big on community. It's Australian country, and things happen: bushfire, floods, drought, everything. Something's happening. There's always a reason to support each other, and therefore the sense of community is very, very strong. And also, COVID and things like that. We all know families that you all go to school with, and then you're in business partnership with, and you see some businesses really struggle from time to time, and there's no better thing than a community to look after each other at times get tough. So the sense of community in these towns around this region and all country Australia is very, very strong, and therefore it's a great place. If something does happen, that they'll be supporting. They'll have your back, and you'll be able to have their back if someone else is struggling. We've had floods recently which have wiped out towns. It's been horrible, but the sense of community shines in those times, and every weekend still people are going out there to help build those towns up now.
Yeah, wow. I mean, and it's just so critical, and I think that sense of community in town, just in the metropolitan areas, it doesn't exist, right? Like, I'll give you, like in the building where I live, there are neighbours that will walk past me and put their head down and not want to engage or say hello.
Yeah, it's harder to actually put your head down and frown than to smile and say good day. I think, and that's probably part of the tourism as well. Just nice country hospitality. Like we get a lot of comments of people. Everyone's just so friendly, and that's kind of what you're coming into when you come into these smaller towns west of Sydney.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so let's get into the topic for today. So. Running a festival in a town, but not being a festival organizer and a promoter, but being a short-term rental host and property manager. What is going on there, Tim?
Yeah, just an idea. It's a way I think, but definitely being part of being a host and property manager has helped me see and guide me to be putting on this festival. Now we've had it second year, and we'll definitely continue in the future. But and it was during COVID that the idea came, and it was exactly that community. Businesses were struggling, restaurants were closed, families were struggling, and the sense of community was low because we couldn't even get out to talk to each other. So I just thought, and I had my team as well. I needed to motivate and boost morale, and I just thought, wouldn't it be great to get everyone together when we can, like say set a date, we hopefully predict when it was going to the
lockdowns
were going to lift, and then just have a place. Like there's nothing like live music, and our artists were the ones who probably suffered the most, because they rely on weddings and people being together to perform their industry. So number one, support the artists who had really suffered. Number two, get the community together. After and the adults as well. We were stuck with kids at home for a long, long time, and that's hard for anyone. So it was just like, let's get the adults together after COVID. And then being in this industry of travel, I thought, geez, this is an event that can be put on and it can start drawing people to town. So just a little idea that grew into something that we put on and very successfully put on. We had the team members, we had the time, and we had the project management tools to be able to do it. A little bit of learning, but you don't learn unless you get in and have a go. And we ended up with an event called A Night in Nashville In Orange.
Wow. So, a night in Nashville, a mini festival. How many people? How like? So okay, let's go back a little bit further because the result is going to come to everybody as we develop through this episode, and you'll find out what it kind of ended up being. But the idea and there's two parts which are crucial for people in accommodation and in hospitality to pick up from this. And the main one being is it can be a massive business driver in terms of creating some sort of an event or some sort of reason to visit a particular area, but then you've got this sense of community. Now, and obviously you had COVID as well mixed in there, which was kind of giving you another angle as well. So you're thinking, all right, what can we do to support the local community? What can we do to engage with people, to make it a destination for people to visit? You're like, we'll set up a festival or an event. Now, did you know the theme of the event? Did you know what size you're going to build it to? How did that process kind of go to, did you go through to get to where you ended up?
Yeah, so partly because of COVID as well, no one could travel, not even interstate, let alone overseas, and people were longing for that. I know people do. So we thought, well, let's bring, and Australia loves the country music, let's bring the country music scene to Orange. So we found a venue, which was kind of like a big old American barn. Once we dressed it up, and we'll just, and with the, back in the day where you one person per 2 square metre kind of rule, that capped us off at 400 people each night that we could have, which was quite a big event to commit to, but we were sure that it would work, so we did. Sold out very quick because everyone was pretty event starved, and mostly just to local. So the 2 years were quite different, so we can talk about the differences there and what we learned from the first year into the second year. So the first year was really local. 85% of our tickets were from within our postcode, and like I said, but its goal was to bring everyone together, and that's what it was. That's what we did, and it was just so happy to see adults having fun again and talking, catching up over a beer, and you know, a bit of music is nothing better than a bit of music and a theme to support that. Get dressed up and just have a dance and have a sing, and you know, in Australia the times were pretty crazy. At a wedding you had to sit down and you weren't allowed on the dance floor, and you know, it was pretty nuts. We just got through that, which was great. Masks just came off the week before. So that we're kind of lucky with our timing because you know, it was a bit of a gamble, but that worked, and that doesn't go into the future. But
and also, I mean, that the COVID was a catalyst. You know, had COVID not happened, you might have never done this event to begin with.
Most likely wouldn't have, no, because we would have just been busy with the property management side of things. But then here's the really cool thing. What we learnt is from the first year, and knowing that this is starting to spread on social media, that geez, we can really impact the town in a positive way if we can sell this to more people out of town and then bring them to town. Obviously, there's one benefit of, you know, selling them our properties as well, so supporting our clients and the local businesses here. And then also we play a big role in encouraging our guests to spend in the local area, so supporting other local businesses around town as well. So the first year, 85% were local. The second year, 45% were local, and 55% came in from out of town. The bulk of those being from Sydney, but we had people from Melbourne and Brisbane and Central Queensland and everywhere come down. And
I didn't get an invite, mate. I would have been there.
I've invited a few people. Country music's not everyone's thing, but you know, it doesn't matter. It's live music, and it's and everyone's a country fan deep down. They know all the songs, and that's the thing. It's Nashville. We're doing American covers, so it's everyone knows the songs. And anyway, it looks like this event will continue and grow well into the future and positively impact, you know, everyone around it, including those people who love it and just want to attend.
Yeah. So, look, folks, if you want to have a look at the festival, the link will be in the show notes. But Tim, just in case someone wants to multi-screen, what was there's the domain still running with the festival, is that right?
Yeah, so we've set up a website, anightinnashville.com.au. Your best place to see how good it is probably on Instagram, which is the same thing, A Night in Nashville.
Okay, so if anyone's listening, have a little look and sort of get a bit of inspiration, because I'm going to change the narrative a little bit, because there's community, which I'm a massive believer in. When we run hospitality businesses or any business, working with community, it makes us feel better about what we do as well. Quite often, though, when we're running businesses like a short-term rental business, we don't, even nowadays, we don't really see our guests so much. We don't really see the local community. We don't have like a hotel on the corner that people come in and out of and that sort of thing. You'll be known as that guy who runs the short-term rentals or the Airbnbs, but not you kind of that pillar of the community. It's not as visible apart from within your vertical, the business that you're working with. And I hope you understand what I mean. And I think that a lot of people would empathize with that. Hopefully, if you're going, oh well, but I just manage properties, and I can do more than that and work with my community. One of the things that I noticed when I looked at the website was that you were kind of the leader in this event, and B&B Made Easy was this key sponsor. Two questions. Am I correct? Is that right? And the other one is, was there anything you had to think about when pulling a brand into it that it makes sense to the average Joe in terms of they're looking like, hold on a second, why is there this short-term rental company thing?
Good question. So in the first year, we branded it really heavily, presented by Book Orange, and I thought that we really want that. Book Orange doesn't exist anymore, by the way. But no, I really wanted to. I don't know. I just felt like we're putting this effort in. Let's just see how that works with our branding.
So sorry, I'm gonna jump in. Sorry. So Book Orange was a brand that you were running at the same time?
It was something that I tried, which was born out of COVID, and again, it was the whole community. Like, let's keep the importance of supporting our locals and keeping the money in the region rather than service fees being sent overseas. So,
gotcha. And then,
however, it's been decided since that we sort of pulled it out and then pulled it back in. It's all under the B&B Made Easy brand now.
Gotcha. Okay. And then just for that concept of Book Orange, so that if other people are thinking of going down this path so that they can have that learning from you, was it just your properties that you were listing on there, or was it local businesses as well?
No, the idea was, and we might get back to a point where we can support it. It wasn't a really viable business model. As in we were trying to go in too many different directions at once. So it wasn't overly supported to its strength that we needed it to, and therefore it wasn't viable to the point that we needed it to be. And we ended up just being kind of like a visitor centre, just helping people at the cost of an employee. So it wasn't. It just didn't end up being a viable thing, but something that we tried. And not everything works perfectly in business, but as long as you can analyse that and make decisions based off the data that you have, but that's okay. It's a good, positive mistake that we've made and learnt from. Not a mistake in any way, because it may re-emerge.
No, that's right. And look, if you're in any kind of business, you're gonna fail all the time at different things. You're gonna try different things, and they're just expenses you build into the business, and you gotta be okay with it. There's times when you're gonna lose $1,000, $10,000, $20,000. As long as you are smart about it, you try to learn from all of those mistakes. But it's just part of business, right?
You cannot go far in business without trying something and it not working. As long as you're switched on enough to understand that it's not working and cut that cost when you need to, you'll be okay. So I've learned so much in business as well. I've only been in it for a few years, 4 years, but always learning. We spoke about this before, but that growth mindset of what works, what doesn't work, and developing yourself and always growing and has led us to pull back Book Orange as far as branding goes and just stick with the B&B Made Easy. We've got the direct site under B&B Made Easy now.
And I just want to reiterate for everybody, this is 4 years worth of work and 150 properties plus a festival now. So,
In the middle of COVID.
oh, yeah, right. And okay, so let's just, I want to keep going down this path so that we can give people as much value as possible. So if they're thinking of these collaborations, these community events, and really putting something on and thinking outside the box and getting excited about maybe something that they're more passionate about or that they are passionate about, they can do this sort of thing. So now with the branding, so we've got B&B Made Easy. So is it presented a night in Nashville presented by B&B Made Easy? Is that the branding?
Oh, sorry, and that's what we're getting to. No, it wasn't. It was just supported by our team. So the second year, we wanted to get sponsors on, and we had a fair few people and local businesses from the first year who sell, Lutno Skin Shop sell boots, and local clothing stores. And these are the businesses relationships that you have in town that it doesn't matter. They just want to support you anyway because they want another event in town. So you find people like that who are happy just to throw a bit of money across the table to support me and my team in making this for the town. So there was no sort of heavy leaning across towards we need to brand this B&B Made Easy. Not at all. It was just more, there are benefits that come out of hosting an event if it works, and financially it really supported us through a month that's been typically one of the quietest months as well. So we were going to benefit from it anyway, but I really wanted this to be a community event, people to spread the news, people to enjoy, local artists to be supported as well as some travelling artists in the second year. So yeah, I chose not to brand it as hard B&B Made Easy. However, sorry, and I must say that when we were selling the accommodation, yes, that's where I chose to chime my business in with all the ticket sales. We gave them a discount code on accommodation at B&B Made Easy.
Love it.
And that direct results from that. Yeah, so we were 85% booked that weekend, and the rest of the town was 35% booked that weekend. So a good result.
Don't tell anybody.
It's all. I don't know. Good result for our guests, but this also plays its part in client retention as well. Like in one of the, on the second year, it was just when I placed it on typically the quietest weekend in Orange, second weekend of February, which everyone does their school holidays, spends their money, and then goes back to routine come February in Australia. Naturally a quiet weekend, but we managed to turn our portfolio into an 85% booked weekend that weekend because of this event as well as bring more people to town and support the local businesses who would have been quieter on that weekend.
Yeah, and so the other thing that I saw that you have the city's support as well.
Yes, so we reached out. They have a grant kind of system, and we got a little bit of sponsorship money, which is just within their policy as a junior event that they support a little bit. So we actually hired one of their venues as well. So that's always great to have that support and backing. This event is privately owned, so there's a lot of grants that we can't apply for or be approved for, and I'm learning that along the way as well. However, I suppose there is an element of risk there, that if the event was to not work in any way, that financially it would be our business who suffered. However, it did work. We had to work hard to sell our tickets this time, especially post-COVID, but the event was a success, and from all feedback that we did send out, most people want it to go again. They'll come back definitely and tell their friends, and so that's kind of reassuring.
Yeah, and the one thing that I think, just for those that are saying, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna copy Tim and just do the same. I'll just do an event." Just so that you know, an event is effectively setting up a brand new business with all of the bells and whistles that you need to put in. You need your website, you need your marketing, you need your people, you need everything. So it's another business, a whole new business that you're putting up on the side. Would you agree with that?
I'd like to make some pretty strong learnings that we made. So the very first year that we put it on, I didn't know the weight of it. It was a lot of weight, and I worked really hard to get it there, obviously, because I wanted it to work. but was quite frazzled for the couple of months following, just because it had impacted our property management business a little bit, just because of the time of that we were taken from the business. So good learning. The second year, we set up some sort of firm procedures in place. We had everything to build off from last year, and that's what you do in business. But to make minimal impact on the B&B Made Easy everyday business, and then also to allow the Nashville business event to go ahead as well. So definitely had a fair bit of strategy around it not impacting our staff. Being them easy time.
Okay, and what I want to finish up on is the community side of things. So we talk about bringing new visitors into the area, bringing economical benefits to everybody. That sense of community when you're on the dance floor with the people that have sponsored the event and that sort of thing, which is, priceless. Can you tell me a bit about whether there has been impact that's measurable that you've noticed in terms of your relationship with the local community? That sort of, maybe it's not as tangible, but the kind of non-tangible benefits.
Yeah, the non-tangible ones. There is a few. So we measure our occupancy on Price Labs, and they've got a very good tool that you can see how our portfolio versus the market, which is the town standard. So we can visually see that. However, what else we've done as well with this is provide a service to or an opportunity to our clients. And some of our clients came on as sponsors, which was great, but some of our clients just attended with a discounted rate, early bird sort of thing. So to kind of enhancing that relationship with our clients, on top of having their properties more booked and the profile of the business in the community being raised, it was a bit of a client retention sort of tool, because they were part of our journey, and they came and they enjoyed and got to talk to them on a much more casual basis, and got to be part of an event that that is all, the team's also managing their home, and it's just, as long as I suppose, an opportunity to show that we do work really hard, and are providing a good service, and just to have that personal relationship, and obviously everyone likes a little bit of advantage as well. So we gave them early bird tickets and looked after them wherever we could at that event and around that event as well.
Amazing. Last one from me for this episode. Of course, some people may be inspired by this kind of event. You're going to have 20 nights in Nashville popping up. Have you copyrighted it?
Yeah, copyrighted.
Trademarked it. Yeah. So just for anyone else that is thinking of doing community engagement type of events, have you had any other ideas or anything else that's come of this? Because obviously, the ideas are just one part of it, but the actual execution. Is there anything you would kind of guide people and say, hey, think about this or that, or you could do different kinds of events? Or
yeah, we've tried another event as well and decided that it's not worth pursuing, but the event was incredible. It just financially, it wasn't going to work for us as a business. So that was a bit of a pre-loved market, but we couldn't work out, it's kind of like ladies selling their clothes in a shared space like a market. But then when we looked deeper into insurances and things like that, and we couldn't make that much revenue there, so we decided to go against it. But I think if it's like anything, if it's a good idea and your community and your town and it's going to work, it's probably worth chasing and trying. If you're not getting those feelings that you're sure, like a bit of advice is try your hardest to make it not impact your everyday business. There's nothing worse than not being able to do what you're meant to be doing and not being able to do something else because you're just too busy and scattered and flustered all the time. So if you're going to commit and it's going to be a good idea, commit and do it really well. Otherwise, it might impact you in a negative way if it's not really thought out as a business, like you said before.
I love it. Tim, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate your time. You coming on, twice, and I love your journey that you've been on, and I'm looking forward to sharing your journey and seeing what you come up with next. The next one, I want my invitation, please. I'm ready,
Yeah.
ready to come down or come up.
Yep, we'll subscribe on our website and you'll be the first one to know about it.
There you go.
No, it's all part of that, building that audience, and yeah, we've got a bit of an email list there to invite back to future events. So yeah, that's all part of learning, and you know, it's just the project management that's really close to both of these businesses, which provide skills in both businesses as well. So. I'm happy for anyone, especially in Australia, to come to our event, most likely next March 2024.
And I take it that invite is open to anyone in the world as well, right?
Anyone in the world, yeah. Get over here.
And make sure if anyone does listen to this episode, that you go up to Tim and you say, hey, I watched you on the Accommodation show and that prompted me to come, and I want to hear about those stories. Thank you so much once again, buddy. I really appreciate it. Check out B&B Made Easy, and folks, if you've liked the episode, leave your comments below. Leave us a review on the streaming platforms. Would love to get your feedback. Let us know your thoughts. If you've put any events on yourself, let us know what they were, or if you're doing any kind of work with the community, I would love to hear it. Take care, Tim. Have a fantastic weekend, and we will speak very soon.
As always, thank you very much for having me, Bart. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to the show. You can find us at theaccommodationshow.com, where you can find all the show notes, links to resources we have talked about, and transcripts from the show. I really do appreciate you listening, and if you'd like to support the show, then please subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with others.